Hi folks, it's Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, coming to you for the second time today, and I really don't need to be on here 2 times a day, but something that I didn't want to talk about is demanding that I think I come on here and make a breaking news talk for you about the Mandela effect again. And I came to the Mandela effect kicking and screaming, didn't really want to be any part of it, wound up on Coast to Coast AM talking about the Mandela effect in a very, very, very popular show. And we were able to tie the Mandela effect back to Yahweh as predicted by the prophet Daniel. And I have a link to the YouTube channel here, to actually the playlist that is about the Mandela effect. We have all those there for you and all the proof. And I also have, for right now, $1.99. All my ebooks are available for just $1.99. And I have had several people order the entire catalog of 10 books, I think we have. So you can get those, for just $1.99. But there is the Mandela effect, the prophet Daniel, and Antichrist. And it goes into, in depth, all of the things that I shared and discovered. Basically, that the Mandela effect was prophesied by Daniel, and it's being perpetrated by the rat bastard Yahweh, the Lord Jehovah, the fallen Elohim, and it's being perpetrated in an attempt, which I think will be ultimately a failed attempt, to prevent the emergence of knowledge to us, and perhaps even through us, hopefully. But this thing, something new, it caught my eye about the Mandela effect, and it's been bugging me. So I have to share it with you, and it's in Brazil, so I wasn't able to go there, obviously, and vet it for myself, but the photographic evidence seems compelling, and we're going to talk about this, and we're going to talk about the Mandela effect and the Christ the Redeemer statue down in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. So grab a cold drink and maybe a notepad, and let's dive into this right now. Okay, so here we are, Christ the Redeemer statue. And if we couldn't make it a little bit odder, a little bit more odd, we've got Princess Diana standing in front of the Christ the Redeemer statue. This is like 1991, and yeah, that is, Lady Diana, Princess Diana, and she's standing in front of the Christ the Redeemer statue, and you can, get an idea of, yeah, it's a big statue, okay, pretty big statue, but I really want us to focus in and try to get an idea of the height of this statue. So let's kind of zoom in on this. And what I want to zoom in on is, if you look here in the back, here's this lady who's very close to the statue. And she's coming up, I mean, how far up that statue base is she? Is she, is she a quarter of the way up? Is she a third of the way up? And of course, she's out further. If she's back against it, she would be, much lower than that. But, just trying to get an idea of the perspective of how tall this statue is, by looking at that lady there. And to me, that's about the best idea we can get for, kind of get an idea for the height of the statue. And just stay with me. We're going someplace interesting with this. These things are usually about 4 feet tall or so, 3 feet tall maybe. If she's right back there, I mean, her head's probably, right here. If you're looking at those barricades are usually like 3 feet tall or so. If she's standing there, her head's probably right about here. So if her head is right where her elbow is, if she's all the way back, I mean, she's maybe a quarter of the way up of this base. And if you notice how wide the base is there in the front, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 or 12 people across, right? I mean, that's the size of this thing. And, of course, here's Princess Diana standing out front. But this was in 1991. Here's a picture of that statue in 2000. And I believe it was 17, it said. 2017. Same statue. And let's zoom in on this one a little bit. As we zoom in on this one, and we start to look at the base of this statue, and we start to look at the people next to it. I mean, here's a person right next to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Significantly smaller in comparison to this base. And if you look, you know, look how little these people are. And we saw before maybe 12 people, generously speaking, lined up across the front of this. I tell you what, it sure looks to be a whole lot larger here in 2017 than it was in 2000 or in 1991. I mean, look at it. Look at the difference in this thing. Let's go ahead and go all the way back down to where it'll give us the ability to go back and forth between pictures. See how far we can go. Okay, look at this. Well, it just lost me. So there it is, and notice the size of the people, right? And then you got Princess Diana here, and notice the size of the people in comparison to that base. That's strange. That is strange. It seems like this statue has grown tremendously. And let's take a look at this. It's actually on Google Earth. Here is that base again, you know, of the statue. And remember, we said 11 or 12 people from here to here. Look at the size of it compared to these people. And this is Google Earth. This is, as you can see, 2017, February. This was a couple of months ago. And look at this. You could put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10. You could put 25 people in front of this. 25 people in front of it. And you compare it to this. Look at that. You might get 10 people there. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? And remember, you know, Princess Diana standing. Well, let's look, where is Princess Diana standing? I mean, she's the princess. She's standing right here. What is she? 40, 50 yards from the statue, maybe? Whoops. What is she? 40 or 50 yards from the statue, maybe? So she's, you know, out here in the middle of this walkway, maybe? But look at the difference in the size of this, the height of this. I mean, this person's coming up to this lip, maybe. Maybe that's a real short lady. But even a man's coming up barely to like here. Whereas before, you've got this lady, you know, coming up maybe a quarter of the way. And yet here, it looks gargantuan. And when we actually take a look up at the statue, look how tall that thing is. Look how tall that thing is. Compared to, doggone it, compared to this, look at that thing. Compared to this statue that Lady Diana is standing in front of. That base is much bigger. That statue is much bigger. Or at least it appears so to me. I mean, am I the only one seeing this? No, I'm not, because I know there's a lot of people on YouTube. Well, there's some people on YouTube that are putting up. But look at that, guys. Look at that. I mean, honestly, look at that. These people are only up to this first ledge. And that's, what, how many blocks is that on that first ledge? One. It's about 2 blocks. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like there's 9, at least 9 blocks in that. Maybe 10 or 12 if we can't really see what's up there, but let's say it's only 2. That's 12 blocks high, right? And these people are maybe 2 blocks up compared to this lady before when she was like a third of the way up the entire structure. And when you look at these people, I mean, you can tell it just does not look the same. It just does not look the same. It looks like this statue has grown tremendously. It has been renovated, cleaned, but do you really think they lifted this statue up and added a bunch of stuff underneath it and then maybe cut him off of the knees and added more? The way I see it, this statue has grown exceedingly larger. This statue is much larger than it was, and that's what we're talking about as far as the Mandela effect here. I mean, it just seems to me that there's no way around the realization that this statue has grown. And that makes things very, very interesting for us as students and as it relates to the Mandela effect. What do you think? Let me tell you what I think about all this. You ready? Folks, it certainly looks like that damn statue is growing. It certainly looks like that damn statue is far taller than it used to be. The base is doubled or tripled its size. And that's weird, man. You know, it's one thing for the movies to be changed. It's one thing for books to be changed. It's one thing for, you know, the portrait of Dorian Gray to become the picture of Dorian Gray, even though when it was written there were no pictures, only portraits. It's one thing, you know, for Forrest Gump to change and for, you know, the Field of Dreams to change. But it's quite another thing when you start seeing a statue of Jesus, Christ the Redeemer, grow bigger. He's like King Kong, brr, 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 right? He's getting big. And I can't help but be reminded, I believe it was the first time I was on Coast to Coast. It might have been the second time I was on Coast to Coast, years ago. And we were talking about the Kenneth Copeland, Pope Francis Love Fest and the reunification of Catholicism, Roman Catholicism and Roman Protestantism. And I talked about the crucifix, that what we now know is a Roman Catholic crucifix and a Roman Protestant cross will be merged. And you're starting to see this. You know, I predicted this maybe 5 years ago. And now you're starting to see it, where you get a cross and, you know, the Christian Protestant cross, and you get the Catholic crucified Jesus figure still with his arms stretched out, kind of like whoa, here we go. Whoo, exactly like Christ the Redeemer. But he's not nailed to the cross anymore. He's hovering above that cross. The cross is no longer, he's not nailed to the cross anymore. So they're mixing Protestantism and Catholicism. But it just struck me that the Jesus of the crucifix, he's not nailed to that cross anymore. He's got, you know, he's stretched out exactly like the Christ the Redeemer statue. And I said on Coast to Coast, I made this prediction, not only that the crucifix would come to pass, and I don't make a lot of predictions, But I made that one, and we're seeing it come to pass. You can look it up. If you start looking, do some image search, you'll see some crosses with the Jesus figure hovering over it. But I said to George Norrie that we will see the day when the Jesus figure comes to life and comes down off of a crucifix and walks and talks and speaks. What if we have something like the Christ the Redeemer statue? Think about this. Christ the Redeemer statue. He's come off the cross. What if that Christ the Redeemer statue were to come to life and float down off of that mountain? What if it would have happened during the Brazil Olympics? That would have been something. But if you're the rat bastard, fallen Elohim, Yahweh, Lord, Jehovah, and you know that you're trying to stage a false flag, and you know that every single day there's some crazy ex-Pentecostal evangelist on YouTube and on national radio broadcasts and in his RV rolling around the country talking to people. If you knew this, you would know that your secret of 2,000 years, he has successfully kept his secrets for 2,000 years. And we now, I'll see someone's going to get me and say, oh, he's got the 666 emblem. You know, speakers just do things with their hands sometimes. And it's not Masonic symbolism. It's just speakers talk with their hands all the time. And every now and then, you know, if you go through everything that somebody's done, you're going to catch them picking their nose. You're going to catch them looking like they're flipping a bird. You're going to catch them looking like they're doing East LA or whatever. Anyway, I don't want to get off into that. But if you're the Lord, rat bastard, Yahweh, Jehovah, and you know that your secret is being outed, you want to do some things to distract and and you're coming back, remember, and this is in Final Message of the Last Apostle, $1.99, but it's in the Mandela Effect book. And if you're going to leverage that Jesus persona when you come back, hide who you really are and leverage the Jesus persona, what better way than to make that thing grow bigger? And even if the statue's not grown bigger, the fact that there's a lot of people talking about it still shows that the Lord is worried. And we've got him on the run. And the more that you subscribe to this channel, the more that you like these videos, the more that you share these videos, the more that you buy the books and buy the t-shirts, the more that you just, you know, flat out give me some financial help, the more that you call your radio station and say, hey, I want you to interview this guy, Jeff Daugherty. Call all the stations, call all the big people, email them, say, hey, you need to get Jeff Daugherty on your show. Call all the TV stations, you know, talk to people. Do what you can to help me do more than I'm doing so we can get this message out. We've got the Lord on the run. And it looks to me, I wish I could go to Brazil. If I had the funds, I would go. But I can't go right now to check it out for myself. But it sure looks like that statue has grown. It looks like a certain Mandela effect. And it feeds into the building up of the plastic Jesus, only in this case it's a concrete Jesus, persona that the Lord is going to use when he attempts a false flag second coming. And maybe, and this is my hope, that's why I'm sitting here at night when I shouldn't be, making these videos. Because people say, what's your hobby? And this is my hobby, this is it. And I think we can stop him. Imagine if we could have stopped 9/11. Imagine if we could have stopped Oklahoma City. We can stop the greatest false flag event of all time by continuing to get this message out. Help me. Help you. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. I hope you found this interesting. And if you have comments about it, if you have questions about it, even if you don't agree, but you can be courteous, you're welcome to leave comments. and to ask questions, but don't be a chucklehead, because I see every single comment that goes up there. I get notified, and it's very easy for me to go bloop and delete your comment, or even go bloop and block you. See, it's bloop for delete and bloop for hide your comments from the channel. So, I mean, you may feel real good for it, and it kind of makes me laugh, because there's all these chuckleheads out there thinking they're firing up, you know, blowing up my timeline, when nobody sees what you write anymore because I block you. Your comments are hidden. It looks to you, for all the world, like you're attacking, you're trolling, but you're not. So you're welcome to ask questions. You're welcome to make statements. I just ask that you be courteous. That's it. But statue looks like it's grown. It looks like it's a Mandela effect, and it feeds right into the prophet Daniel prophesying that the Lord would use the Mandela effect to help distract and to deflect a new truth from coming. And we're still coming. We're coming at you with truth at the speed of light, helping you unwind your mind. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, helping you to unindoctrinate yourself.